cold sweats, chewing on my nails like you know me best. Yet looking in the mirror I don't recognize myself. But is this life and is this hell? So your voice, the hellions on my mind, the added pressure that I'm running out of time is still burning me, this anxiety. Oh story maker, don't be a stranger now. But when you're stuck in your room, a mirror
That was the ferocious and emphatic new track Almost Famous from Leicester-based indie punk band Jools. Having already played Hysterical Starving Naked on the show back on the 21st of November, this time they've upped the stakes and come out winners with this new track. With clever tempo changes and fierce fuzzy guitars all mixed with those snarly vocals makes that a winning combination. So nice one, guys, thank you very much. And that was released again on These Bloody Thieves Records. We're going to go to a little advert break. We'll be back in a couple of moments, but we'll be back with the new track from Honeybadger and the interview with Dutch Criminal Record. So don't go anywhere, we'll be back in 2.
The Premium Blend Radio Show.
How about that, folks? How about that? That was Honeybadger with their new tune, Top of the List, and it's proper tasty. With a sound to emulate their live sound, Honeybadger go for a wall of angry, furious sound and certainly don't hold anything back. I've seen these guys live a couple of times now, and each time they've impressed. With an average age of just 17 within the band, they spent the last 4 years honing the right sound, and Top of the List is just the tip of the iceberg. I highly recommend you keep your eyes and ears on these guys. I really have a good feeling about them. So nice one, guys. Thanks for sending the track over. This week we caught up with Joe, one third of Dutch Criminal Record, to chat about what they've been up to during lockdown and about the new video they want you to dad dance to and when we can expect new music from these guys. We are chatting to Dutch Criminal Record and we're speaking to Joe. Hi Joe, how you doing?
Hi Stuart, I'm doing really well, thank you very much. Yeah, keeping well.
Well, thanks for coming to do the interview with us this week. Very much appreciated. Would you like to introduce yourself and the other band members within Dutch Criminal Record?
Sure. Well, I'm Joe and I play drums for DCR. There's two other members. There's Sam and he's guitar and vocal. and then there's the other Joe Delaney Stone, and he's also on guitar and vocal. And yeah, together as a trio, we make Dutch Criminal Record.
So can you tell us a bit more about the band? People that don't know about Dutch Criminal Record, how long have you been going? What sort of sound do you have? And what can people expect from Dutch Criminal Record?
Well, we've been around. I mean, I wasn't there at the start, funnily enough. It started in, I believe, Joe and Sam's year 11 or year 10 music class, and that's about 7 years ago for their GCSEs. And then I joined about three years ago. So we've been around for quite a while, actually. We classify ourselves as indie surf pop, and it's all guitar driven, very much Beach Boys and Beatles influenced. And we're located in the Portsmouth area, so that's kind of DCR. That's where we're at the moment.
And how did you come up with the name for the band?
So as I said, I joined about 3 years ago. Before that, there was their previous drummer called Alex, and he was a good footballer in his youth, and he went on a tour, I think with the Brighton Academy, to Holland. And the story is funny because the story changes every time, supposedly, but I think that, or what we've kind of decided happened, the most realistic story was that he stole a crate of beers and he got a slap on the wrist because he was only there for a few days, so there was no way that, you know, the Dutch judicial system works so quickly that he'd get a criminal record within about 3 days. But yeah, he came back to school and was telling everyone that he had this Dutch criminal record. And I think because it was still at school, there was the Battle of the Bands coming up, and they didn't have a name, so they just thought, actually, that sounds cool. We'll go with that, and it kind of stuck. So yeah,
it's a good name. It's a cool name, actually. It is quite memorable. You know, you're not going to forget it in a hurry anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned about the Beach Boys, part of your influences. Who else are the band influenced by?
I mean, I suppose, like, you know, those are really our core influences, but then, you know, with every song that we release or we make, I suppose it kind of depends on who we've been listening to in that time period. So, you know, a few years ago we were really into Circle Waves, so a few of our songs are quite influenced by Circle Waves. Bands like Vampire Weekend have kind of been like a ubiquitous influence for us. They're great, and like, you know, being an indie band nowadays, I think it's hard not to be influenced by them. Also bands like the Smiths, you know, everyone, Johnny Marr as a guitarist, I mean, how can you not be influenced? So yeah, kind of like the whole indie scene, the whole indie genre, you find influence from all over the place.
How does the writing process happen within the band? Is it one person, or is it a group collective?
I mean, I suppose it's changed quite a lot being in quarantine.
I suppose that does pose a new problem.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, it's hard to get in the same room or get in the same space. But usually what's happened in the past few years is Sam or Joe, they'll come up with like a riff or something, and they'll be like, that's quite cool, and they'll show it to one another, and they'll riff around with it, and they'll come up with some ideas, and then we'll like go to a band practice and just smash out these ideas and see what comes from it. And yeah, but obviously in quarantine, I mean, Sam and Joe have kind of been trying to make these songs as best they can on their own because they can't really do much else. And I suppose once we're allowed to see each other, try and, you know, make them a band song, if that makes sense.
Yes, trying to bring the creative juices together once you're all in the room together and see what comes out at the end of it.
Exactly, yeah.
So you're going to release a new single in a couple of weeks. Would you like to tell us more about that new single?
Sure. So it's due for release, I think, on the 26th of June. It's called Feel Good, and we're hoping it will be the soundtrack to some people's summer, but I mean, I don't know how much of a summer we're going to get, but hopefully, you know, even in quarantine, we'll be able to get people having a little boogie to it, etc. It's quite a funky track. We're very fond of it, and we're hoping everyone else will be too. So yeah, I hope it will make people feel good as well. That's what we hope.
Well, that's the beauty of music, isn't it? Yeah, everyone wants to feel good, and music certainly brings that vibe to it. So we're going to play one of your tracks now. Would you like to introduce that track?
Sure. This next track is called Vinitro Road. It was released late or at the turn of this year, and it's an 80s influenced DCR track.